Any limits that we impose on ourselves are hallucinations from our mind and not real. Our mind does this out of fear, and this fear comes from a part of our mind called the ego. We have the potential to become anything. Humans are infinite beings, but our ego will do whatever it can in order to hold on to a previous identity and prevent you from becoming what you desire. An identity could be an idea of ourselves, a political belief, an idea of another person, who we are in a certain relationship, a certain career path, etc. There are countless identities that our ego could hold on to. So when you change and surrender old beliefs about your identity, a death happens. An old version of you dies and a new one is born. It's not a physical death, but a death in a spiritual or metaphorical sense, and a new identity is formed. So the ego is a self-preserving defense mechanism to prevent this death or transformation from happening. It will create all these fear-based ideas in your mind of why you should not change in order to preserve itself and prevent the death from happening. Society, family, religion, peers, and culture all contribute to forming our ego. It's there to try and keep you safe. It feels much safer to continue with our old ways, patterns, or what is deemed normal by society because there's no threat to our belief system that keeps our identity intact. This is why when we are presented with new information, our ego will oftentimes not allow us to receive it. Ignorance is bliss, and we as humans do whatever we can to try and hold on to that bliss. Growing is painful and requires you to shed an identity, aka experience an ego death. Since knowledge is infinite, we will never reach a place where there is never a threat to our ego or our identity, and will never be able to completely transcend the pain of evolving. No matter how much we practice, study, learn, train, experience, accomplish, etc., we will never be at a place where there are no threats to our ego or belief system. Anyone claims to have infinite knowledge or to have completely transcended their ego is full of shit. I believe it's possible to transcend your ego in certain moments for certain periods of time, but to live in a constant state of a transcendent ego or in complete oneness all the time, I don't believe that is possible. This would make you a god and not a human. As humans, our perception is extremely narrow and limited. All we know is what ourselves have experienced. There are billions of perspectives in the world, and it's arrogant to think that out of the billions that exist, that ours is the only correct one. As they say, there is more than one way to add to 10. This is why our identities are a house of cards. Our identities are continually shifting as we experience more and obtain new information. And an ego death is when the house of cards comes tumbling down and we realize we are not who we thought we were. This is what growth looks like, and this process continues as we experience more life and obtain new information. Since our identities are forever evolving and shifting, who we are at one moment will never be the same as who we are in another moment. Therefore, the idea of ourself is not based in reality. Our entire identity is based on a memory. Memories of our past experiences, relationships, accomplishments, failures, etc. All our self really is a memory. And this memory traps us in a box. And this box is our identity or our ego. We can actually recreate ourselves at any given moment, but the memory of our past prevents us from doing so. We fall for this illusion of the memory of ourselves. We may believe that we are only capable of certain things, capable of certain careers, certain relationships, certain skills, based on the idea of who we are. But we really have unlimited potential. Our potential is unlimited once we let go of our identity or our ego and the blocks that it puts us in. We have the ability to create any new kind of identity, and it's a process of becoming. We can become a new person by changing what we do. If you want to become a musician, practice music every day. If you want to be a basketball player, play basketball every day. It doesn't matter if you're getting a paycheck for it or not. You are what you do. If you want to be a sociable person, try and socialize every day. This process of becoming a new person will be very painful. There will be so much resistance from your ego, and it will create this resistance to keep you the same and to keep you comfortable because it doesn't want to die. that old identity doesn't want to die. But fighting the resistance is what is required to continue growing into a new identity. This process goes on for the duration of a lifetime. A version of you is born, and then it dies, and then a new one is born again. It's a continuous cycle of births and deaths that make up a lifetime.